What's up, guys? Got push day this morning, and I don't know if any of you guys were following along with. I think it was what day was that? I think it was my Friday upload on my quad day. I was talking about how this week, it's now week 12, be dialing things back a little bit, maybe doing a little bit of a deload to allow my body some more time to recover. And yesterday, yesterday was the first workout of the week, hamstring and glute, and I did dial pretty much everything back just a little bit. And I mean, surprisingly enough, I actually did end up feeling it a bit more like throughout the day after the workout. Like I was more sore than, or I guess I'm just about as sore as I usually would get, maybe a little bit more. But I think a lot of that was more focus on like really slowing down the tempo of the reps, pausing at the stretch and the contraction part of the movement, and that lighter weight just allowed me to get more of that. So that's going to be pretty much the plan for this entire week, just dialing everything back, uh, trying to I'm not planning on taking any of my sets to failure this week. I'd like to stay within kind of like, 2 reps, kind of like left in the tank each set. So that way I'm not like over exerting, because the whole point of this week is just give my body enough time to recover. Starting off like I've been doing for the past few weeks, starting off the chest movement with a fly variation, get everything nice and loose, warmed up, get some blood filled into the pecs themselves before getting into some heavy pressing movements. And then I do have a couple of things differently lined up this week, which you'll be seeing here soon. Let's go ahead and get this last set, and then we'll move into some incline presses. All right, so that right there is a prime example of what it is that I'm looking for. So slightly dialed back the weight, and then that was a set where, normally I would be looking for 10 to 12 reps. Could have easily gotten another 2, maybe even more reps on that last set, and decided to stop it short at 10 reps. So that's primarily going to be the goal of this workout, is not pushing myself as hard, and kind of like knowing when to cut back on the reps. So moving on to incline presses, it's going to be a slight different variation, or not different variation, but going to be altering the way that I do it, so ever so slightly. That's a better way to describe that. And what I mean by that is because in this position back here, I don't feel like I get enough of a stretch in the pecs. So using one of these foam pads, basically placing it right behind my back, right in the arch of my back, and that will allow me to get a bit more of a stretch. Now, same thing with these. Dial the weight back, quite a bit. Just gotta get this thing into position a little bit better. And then really get my arms and my shoulders back there now, because it's quite a bit more stretched now than it usually would be. And there we go. Just like on the flies, stopping, two or more sets prior to failure. Gonna do 3 sets total of these. It'll probably stay around that same range. Maybe by like the last set, if I feel like I'm like, wow, I still got a lot left in the tank that I could give, I might try to push it out to 12, but I'm really not trying to push these sets anything close to failure like that. About to go into the last set of incline presses. I think I'm probably gonna keep this thing, just keep it around 10 reps. I don't really see the point in trying to push it any further than that, especially on that second set. I still feel like I had a couple reps that I could have, cranked out, but it was getting up close to that 10th rep. I was starting to feel it. Like I said, even though I probably could have gone another couple reps past that point, I knew that was kind of like the ceiling of where I wanted to push these two. So getting ready to go into this last set, probably be another 10 reps. And then after these got just regular chest press with more of a emphasis on stretch. Like that machine, I would usually put in, like, because you can adjust the handles forward and back, I would usually leave it in the 2 position, which is just out slightly. But I think I'll be moving that back to the 1 position to, put more emphasis in that stretch position. Make sure this pads pretty centered. It goes. Though I think it shifts when I go to get my arms in position. Yeah, if you'll notice, like I said, I'm also trying to slow down the tempo of those reps too. It's another way that you can add stress to the muscle, to the movement. Not only obviously by load, it's the most common way that people try to increase the amount of stresses by just throwing more weight on there. You can also increase the stress by just slowing down the tempo of the reps, really feeling it all the way through. Getting ready to go in the last set, regular chest press. And this is what I was talking about, where this machine is adjustable. for the depth of the handles. So it's got all this adjustment. Looks like it only goes up to a 5. But anyways, you can see the difference there between now it's on position 4. It actually won't go into 5 for some reason. It's getting stuck. But all this adjustment from 4, all the way down to position 1, you can see how much deeper of a stretch that allows for. Same thing on these. Probably only looking for like 10 or so reps. That was a good set. That one was actually probably taken a little bit closer to failure than I would have wanted to. Like I maybe had another rep left in the tank. So that was taken a little bit further than I would have liked to, but still maintained 10 reps throughout all 3 sets. Next up, got some overhead tricep extensions. Try a little bit of a different, a little bit closer angle for this one. This time, I don't know, from what I could tell, I kind of like it a little bit. You'll have to let me know. Yeah, this is a good angle for me. Going in, overhead tricep extensions on this tricep extension machine. Same thing, just dialing the weight back. 10 to 12 reps, been kind of sticking around 10. Though I think I did set my initial starting weight a little bit too high. So I have since dropped it a little bit. I thought it was going to be enough for me to maintain those reps. But after doing that first set, I was like, yeah, no, this is probably going to be a bit too much to try and really maintain the set reps that I'm going for without getting, too close to the point of failure. So dialed that back down a little bit. It's been much better, allowing me to really focus on the tempo, controlling the reps up and down, feeling that stretch, feeling that squeeze. And second set was actually a really good set in that regard of just being able to slow everything down and feel it all. And that's something that you've got to, I guess it comes from doing this for, a long-ish time or like a longer period of time, is eventually you begin to learn, your body and what it can and can't handle at what load ranges and rep ranges. So really, like when I say that I'm, looking to be between 10 and 12 reps, but I don't want to really shoot over that, but I also want to try and stay within, 2 reps or more prior to failure. That's something that's kind of like self-perceived, where, you've got to be conscious enough about your own limitations to then be like, okay, this is probably the upper limit of what I should be doing. I need to pull back a little bit. Yep. Stop it right there. Probably could have gone another 2 reps. Stopped it right there at 10. Next, gonna be actually a little bit of a change this week. with the lateral raises, because over the weekend I did use a different variation where I used one of those seated machines. It's got the chest pad, you lean into it, and then it's got the two rollers on the side where you do your lateral raises that way. And I used that for the first time here. And my the side head or lateral head of my delt was cooked afterwards, even after doing, only 3 sets. And I felt it probably for the rest of the day. So, considering how much I like that and how good that felt, I think I'm going to be starting to use that going forward. So we're going to go jump onto that thing now. Just getting ready to go into the last set of the lateral raises on this machine. Like I said, hadn't used this machine prior to Saturday when I did my full upper body day, and I did like this thing quite a bit. I do realize it is a bit kind of like cramped with a machine on both sides of this thing, so it makes trying to find a good angle to set the camera in a little bit more challenging than usual, probably. Same thing on these, like everything else. 10 to 12 reps with really just looking for 10. Good set. Again, kind of similar to, geez, what one was that? I think it was the chest press, where it was slightly closer to failure than any of the other movements. This set, even at 10 reps, I maybe felt like I had another rep, maybe another rep left. So again, kind of like right in that range where I want to be, where still getting a decent number of reps, but not getting too close to failure. Finishing off is going to be some tricep push downs, most likely with the straight bar, because I've been liking that variation a lot. Getting ready to go into the last set of the workout. Set number 3, tricep push downs, which I'm kind of glad this is the last movement, because I'm feeling pretty cooked, like all over after this workout. That's for sure. Like my chest, my triceps, my shoulders, all feeling crispy, which again, the weird part is that it's lower in weight, but then again, like my thinking or reasoning behind that is obviously because it is lighter weight, then I can really focus on the tempo and slowing down the reps. So I'm able to feel it more, which then leads to, I don't know, maybe slightly more fatigue. At least that's kind of the idea of what's happening that I've got going on in my head. Let's finish up this last set. Same thing, but for 10 reps with, 2 in reserve. Finish this up and then try and do some cardio, at least 25 minutes. I don't know how much longer Kira's got on her cardio session, but I can't imagine it's much more than that. So I'm gonna try for at least 25 minutes. Good set. Right about at that upper limit again of what I could probably push without getting, going to failure. Let's go. Today is the 18th. Gotta log that workout. My handy app that keeps track of everything for me. And then that is going to be a wrap on this one, guys. Like I said, as far as I don't know when, I'm planning on outfitting the posing room, getting that whole thing constructed. Still up in the air. Haven't heard anything about that. So probably still going to be waiting on that. I am still trying to do a little bit of posing in my free time at home. I've got some pretty large mirrors on my closets in both bedrooms. So do try and practice a little bit on my own when I can. Aside from that, guys, really, I mean, the cuts, like losing weight, I was stalling for a bit. Now we're back down. I'm like this close to getting under 190, which I have a feeling once I break past that kind of like threshold or plateau, then I think it'll be pretty, like things will be back on track as far as like progressing in dropping more weight uh, after that point, or at least I really hope so. Guys, all that being said, if you made it to the end, I do appreciate you, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.